Hey guys, I did my learning presentation over the article Effective Cooperative Learning on Secondary School Students' Mathematics Achievement. And it's by these three. I'm not even going to try to pronounce their names. So the summary of this article, it was a study done in Indonesia. The purpose of this study was to determine the effects of cooperative learning on students' mathematics achievement in secondary school, and it also determined the students' perceptions of cooperative learning. Students were given two tests, a pre-test and a post-test, that were analyzed using the t-test. The results showed that there was a significant difference between cooperative learning and the traditional learning method. And it also showed that cooperative learning increased their understanding and developed the students' self-confidence. So the cooperative learning technique used in this article was jigsaw cooperative learning. So what is jigsaw cooperative learning? Well, it helps students create their own learning by talking out information that they are given with their peers. So how this works is that students are arranged in groups. They will then get a different piece of information within their group. They will then meet with members of other groups with the same information. So in these groups, they will research and share ideas about the information they were given. Then students will return to the original groups where they started and piece together everything that each group member found. So in this, everybody's talking to each other, everybody's working together to figure out what is important about this topic. A little bit of background information about this study. There were two groups involved, the first being the treatment group, and the students that were in this treatment group were exposed to jigsaw cooperative learning, and the other group was the control group, and they were taught using the traditional teaching method. There were 61 students that were chosen for this study. 31 were in the treatment group and only 30 were in the control group. The mathematics achievement test was used to determine if jigsaw cooperative learning was effective. The students were given a pre and post test. In both the tests, there were 6 open-ended questions along with 12 multiple choice questions. And in these questions, they covered integrals, area, and volume. To find out the perception about jigsaw cooperative learning, students were given a questionnaire to see how the students measured their perception towards cooperative learning. And then also the hypothesis of this study was no significant difference between cooperative learning and traditional methods. The questions asked in this study were, is there a significant difference in mathematics achievement between students taught using jigsaw cooperative learning and the traditional methods? And what are the perceptions of students who are exposed to jigsaw cooperative learning? So what was found in the article? In the pretest, looking at the table, we can see that the experimental group had a mean score of 9.65 and a standard deviation of 5.58. The control group had a mean score of 9.97 and a standard deviation of 6.10. Since there wasn't a significant difference between the two groups, the authors were able to assess the difference between groups on the post-test using a t-score. So if we go over to the right and look at the post-test, we can see that there was a significant difference in the mean. of the mathematics achievement test, the experimental having a 55.19 mean, and a standard deviation of 11.62, while the control group only had a mean of 47.47 and a standard deviation of 15.1. With such a big difference, the authors were able to reject the null, that there was not a significant difference, and concluded that students who learned through the Jigsaw cooperative learning did better than those who learned through the traditional method. Students were given 10 responses that they could choose on the questionnaire to determine their perception to Jigsaw cooperative learning. I only put the two highest responses in my presentation, and the first was being able to discuss and exchange ideas with friends without fear was what they enjoyed most about this type of learning. And this was chosen about 26% of the time. The second highest was students also liked that they could make friends and ask questions. This was chosen 23% of the time. I think these responses make sense, because the students might feel more comfortable answering questions and asking questions to their peers rather than the teacher, due to embarrassment or even just being shy. The effect of cooperative learning was that the cooperative learning methods resulted in higher mathematics achievement than the traditional teaching methods. I can see this also being more successful because students are able to sometimes simplify and make the lessons easier for each other to understand. And I think that helps those that are too afraid to say they don't understand. I believe that the implementation of the Jigsaw cooperative learning should be looked at more in depth of terms of knowledge and skill. Um, I also think that for this to be implemented in the classroom, more professional development is going to be needed to make sure that this learning method is properly used. Collaboration should be greatly encouraged, from one teacher to the next, because they can learn from each other. Here is my reference. Thank you for watching.